Financial Survival Network, helping you to survive and thrive in the new economy. Get our complimentary newsletter at financialsurvivalnetwork.com. This is the Financial Survival Network.
Hi, it's Kerry Lutz. I recently decided to move my retirement account into physical precious metals to hedge against the coming times. If you want to move an existing retirement account into physical precious metals that you can hold in your hand tax-free, there's no company that can do it more quickly and efficiently than Regal Assets. It took them just 24 hours to open my new IRA account, and all I had to do was fill out one simple form. The best part is that Regal Assets does all the work for you. They cover the setup and 2013 administrative costs for you. If you're interested in making the same move I did, call 855-678-6620, 855-678-6620. That's 855-678-6620, or visit them at regalassets.com. You'll be glad you did, and tell them Kerry sent you. You are listening to the FinancialSurvivalNetwork.com. I'm Kerry Lutz on 1230 WBZT, and it's time for another Triple Lutz Report. This is episode 274. It is June 20th, 2013. Precious metals getting obliterated today. We're looking at gold breaking the 1,300 mark. It's down $59.10 the ounce, 4.37%. That's at 12:35 Eastern Standard Time. Silver broken the $20 mark, down $1.42. What is going on, you ask? And I spoke with David Gerwitz earlier in the day. We're going to try to get him on late this afternoon or tomorrow. Don't know exactly when. I'm in the process of moving the office and the house, but I'm trying to keep the show going. The show must go on, as they say in Hollywood. But look, it's exactly what Charles Nenner was saying. He picked a downward target of $1,285 the ounce. Looks like he's pretty spot on. David said he thinks it could go down a little bit more. It looks like it's a classic W bottom, not a U, which is what he was cautioning against 3 weeks ago. If Nenner gets this call right, my hat's off to him. I will bow at his feet. I'll bow at his altar. How does he get it right when there's so much manipulation going on, when they're screwing with the price of everything? I don't know, but somehow these cycles predict the manipulation as well. I don't understand it. I'm not good at prices. All I know is I like to play longer-term trends, so I don't have to get beat up by the short-term trends. And it's just really funny to watch the way all this stuff unfolds. Obviously not funny if you bought gold and silver within the past 2 or 3 years. You've taken a hit. And yes, your worthless fiat currency still has worth to it. But look, the final chapter in this thing really isn't in doubt. Eventually, gold and silver are going to be the currencies. There's no question about it. I mean, you look at the interest rates on the 10-year bond, they are going up. They're up at 2.4%. You know, this is panic territory. We're going to see banks pretty soon start losing major sums of money in the derivatives markets. Dow under 15,000. Nenner says Dow will go down to 5,000 eventually. Is he right? I wish I could tell you. I don't know. But so far, he's been spot on. It looks to me like we're entering another phase of the collapse. I don't know what. But when a guy like Henry Blodgett says that gold is getting slammed and it's in a depression and blah, 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 I don't believe this Blodgett guy. He's been involved in manipulation of stocks before. Not a trustworthy individual. He's been playing his book. He's been helping manipulators in the past. So take your advice from where it comes. You know, go with the people who know what they're talking about. Yeah, Nouriel Roubini said, oh, yeah, you know, gold is finished. blah, blah, blah. Well, look, if they're going to allow the currency, the volume of currency units out there to greatly depreciate, to deflate, as it were, where you will see the money supply go from trillions of dollars down to less than a trillion, yeah, you're darn straight. The price of gold will go down in nominal dollars, but its purchasing power will still go way, way, way up because the purchasing power of a dollar will go way up. Either way, your wealth will be protected by gold and silver to a probably greater degree. This bull still has lots to run on it. You know, the one thing they talk about, we're still running a $650 billion deficit at least, although the borrowings that the Fed has undertaken are greater than an annual rate of $650 billion a year. They look closer to $850 billion, and then there's interest on all that debt. So look, nothing has been solved. The profligate spending, so we've got higher taxes, which is decreasing economic activity, and then we've got the sequester, which also to a lesser degree is decreasing economic activity. You put them all together, maybe they decrease the deficit by 450 billion, probably less than that, maybe 300 billion. In the final analysis, they still have to print the difference. There's not enough loose cash out there to pay the deficit. So maybe they can get some from people fleeing the euro. They can get a few $100 billion there. They got to be printing the rest. All of this has been done before. Do not panic. You know, panic is a bad thing. You know, you don't have a lot of places to put your money. Maybe they're driving the Dow down to try to drive the interest rates down, because once these interest rates go over 3-4%, the deficit will balloon because the debt service will go up in a huge way. And none of this is good in the long run. I know in the long run we're all dead, but you know, you have to look and see that there's a lot of risk on the horizon, a lot of potential really bad outcomes. You know, what is rising interest rates going to do for the so-called real estate recovery? How's that going to work out? You know, they can't allow interest rates really to increase. It just is going to be untenable. And, you know, then you've got stuff going on in China. Well, they've got their own host of problems. You know, a lot of their recovery, a lot of their growth over the past 3 or 4 years has been due to stimulus, to government spending. They've got lovely infrastructure, really nice bullet trains, lovely empty cities, you know, cities that have no population, and overinvestment, if it's possible to do that, but certainly malinvestment, investment that is basically driven by poor government policies. And all of this is just a bad thing that is going to lead to really, really bad outcomes. And your only protection in the long run is going to be precious metals, as well as resources, food, and things that you must have. Forget about these phony consumer growth stocks. They don't exist. Yes, consumer stocks, you're going to need your toothpaste, you're going to need your toilet paper, you're going to need your paper towels. You can't live without this stuff. As the guys at the Value Guys say, it's needs, not wants. Yeah, some wants, you know, cosmetics, women's cosmetics, you know, try to tell your significant other that she can't get lipstick. She can't have that Chanel lipstick. She can't have that perfume. Can't have those cosmetics. Can't have her facial. Can't get her hair done and tinted and dyed and whatever else. And man, you will get a knife in your back. So that stuff is going to go on fine. But in your case, you better expect to keep that car for an extra year or two. But they might just make it so worth your while that you'll decide to trade. Look, I mean, They know how to keep the ball going. They know how to keep the can being kicked down the road indefinitely. But, you really got to think about these things because it's coming. The eye of the hurricane, all those cliches you've been hearing me say, Peter Schiff and others, we're getting closer to it. The Fed knows it. The government knows it. Homeland Security knows it. They all know it. And, hey, it makes me think of pawn shops. And when I think of pawn shops, Audible's a sponsor of the show. Listening to a new book by our guest, Les Gold. He's the guy from Hardcore Pawn. He's got the pawn shop on 8 Mile Road in Detroit. And I just started listening to it last night. I was dead tired, but I just downloaded it. He finally released it. If you remember, he was on the show about 2-3 months ago, I think in March, and I wanted him to be appointed emergency manager of Detroit. And he said it was coming out, and I had no idea that his life was that interesting. I just assumed that he was like 4th generation pawnbroker, probably had a pretty wealthy life and good life, but evidently he was really abused by his father. His father got into the business. His father was taken in by Les's maternal grandfather, and basically Les's father, who went by the initials LG, that's what he wanted everyone to call him, was pretty much a no-good SOB and was constantly undermining Les's confidence and his mother. He was abusing his mother constantly, and he was just a bad guy. And when I think about that, I think back to my father, who got me into the family business and always treated me with respect, always viewed my opinions, sought them out, even when they were stupid, which when I was a kid, let's face it, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. And yet my old man was always building my confidence, always saw something in me that I sure didn't see. I don't know what he saw, but he saw something, and he really built my confidence up. And then to hear Les's story, and Les would like literally run away from his father and stay with his grandparents who loved them to pieces. And I didn't get much further than that, but one time they tried to rob the pawn store in Detroit, and Les's father goes hide in the basement, and cop gets killed, and one of the robbers is still in the store, and Les takes out a shotgun and holds this guy until the cops come. And, Les is a tough guy. There's no question about that. Les is a tough guy, but he's not like physically intimidating, but he's not the kind of guy you want to mess with. So, man, I suggest you get this book. I only wish that Les read the book, because he could have read it. It would have been even better because it would have been more personal. It's the only criticism I have. I'm about 25% of the way through it. Les, you did a phenomenal job. I love the book. I totally love it. And it's showing a whole nother side of you that's amazing. And it gives me a better insight to the way you deal with your kids. Much, much more patience than your father ever showed you. And you really are a good father, by the way. So you want to get that book for free, go over to audiblepodcast.com/Lutz. audiblepodcast.com/LUTZ. You get that book for free, and you get a month's free trial. It's such a great deal. If you want to get another book, you can get that instead. Don't worry about it. Just audiblepodcast.com/Lutz. And getting back to the Triple Lutz report, don't worry about this. I mean, Nenner is the best cycle guy in the world, in my opinion. Certainly one of the best, up there with Martin Armstrong for sure. He said this. I mean, 2 days ago, I'm looking at Charles's report, and he said, the gold correction, not over yet. Here, I'm going to read it to you. As expected, we saw some more weakness in gold and silver cycles continued down, and we are still waiting for our projected cycle low. A close below 1353 is now needed for more downside action in gold, while a close above 1395 will be a short-term buy signal. Silver will give a short-term buy signal on a close above 2240. Nevertheless, with cycles down, it's still too risky to buy. For now, we still think that gold could reach 1285. Spot on, Charles. Man, you so read these cycles. I don't know how you do it. You must have a crystal ball. Go over to charlesnenner.com. I mean, he really knows his stuff. I'm a real believer in him now. I was doubting him this time. Every time I doubt this guy, I doubted him. Apple 707 said sell it short at 700. Spot on, Charles. So don't worry about this. He's saying gold turns in July, and it's beginning its long-term secular bull market. I should say resuming it. Have faith. Prosperity's just around the corner. Just kidding. Just kidding. Happy days are here again. No, not really, but gold will be going up. Don't worry. It's been another Triple Lutz report. Kerry Lutz signing off. Hey, don't forget, check out Les Gold's book on audiblepodcast.com/Lutz. Hi, this is Kerry Lutz of the Financial Survival Network. These are trying times. The most important issue you face today is how to stay free in a world that's becoming less free by the day. Join myself, Mickey Fulp, Robert Ian, David Morgan, and 12 others at the Liberty Mastermind Symposium in Dallas on June 28th, 29th, and learn how to create your personal roadmap to staying free. Don't miss it. Join us and register now at libertymastermind.us. Sign in at libertymastermind.us.
The Financial Survival Network, helping you to survive and thrive in the new economy. Get our complimentary newsletter at financialsurvivalnetwork.com. This is the Financial Survival Network.